Getting frustrated because this is already like the 5th time I've tried to record this video. First, I didn't get the testimony right. I felt God tell me to redo it, so I tried doing it. Not enough storage. Deleted stuff. Not enough storage. So here I am, third time. Third time is God wants me to do this. So my testimony that God wants me, what God wants me to get across in this is that God makes a way. God makes a way, even in the most damaged person. And I know I'm not the most damaged, because I know there's people that have gone through probably worse. And this isn't a competition or nothing. This is my testimony. This is something that I've gone through, a part of my life. And, you know, it leads up to me being saved and redeemed. And I am so glad that God saved me and redeemed me this year. And God's been with me since the very beginning. Since the very beginning, life hasn't been easy for me. Since the very beginning, life has been hard. Since the very beginning, the devil has tried to get me, you know, and he almost had me back in December of 2025. He almost had me. But my God is stronger. My God I can't even put into words how good God is. But let's get to the testimony. So this goes back to 2016. To set some context, I was in high school. I was a sophomore in high school. I was drinking. I was smoking. I was hanging out with the wrong people. My parents were divorced. I was living with my mom. Well, I was bouncing between my mom and my dad, but at the time I was living with my mom. My mom was doing her own thing, and I remember I lied my way through getting myself taken to a warehouse party, and at this party I drank, I smoked, I nosed. I was there with a friend, and I was with my husband already at that time, and I remember I kind of lied to him too of where I was at, and I remember he found out, and he was begging me to come home. He was begging me to go to his house because he lived close to where that party was. And I remember I just wanted to feel the emptiness of my parents' divorce, the emptiness and the baggage I was carrying and the traumas, and I wanted to fill it with things that weren't right. You know, when you try to fill the void with worldly things, you're gonna get a worldly result. So this is where that comes in. I remember me and my friend ended up, she caught the eye of one of the guys there, and it was two guys. It was me and my friend, and it was two guys. And my friend ended up catching the attention of one guy, and then the friend came along, and I was just there, and I was with my husband at the time, so I wasn't entertaining the guy. But this was one of those times where me and my husband were like, we were in high school, we were like off, kind of. We were on a break, so I remember we were just there, and I wasn't doing nothing with the guy or anything. But then the party gets raided, and we start walking home. Mind you, this was in LA, and we lived in Hawthorne, both of us. And the guys offered to walk us home. And they stole some alcohol from the party, and they were walking us home. And on the walk home, my friend at the time, she ends up doing stuff with the guy. And she's not gonna put her business out, but she's doing stuff. And the other guy's there, and I remember he was giving me more alcohol, and we were taking shots and this and that, and I was very out of my mind. I was not in my right two senses. I was crossfaded. And I remember we got to, if I sound nervous, is because only 3 people know. 4 people. My husband, ex-husband, my best friend, my mother, and my sister. And my mother and my sister just found out maybe like 4 years ago. So I've never told anybody else. So I remember that us and those guys were walking, and my friend was with the guy, and I was with the other guy because he didn't want to leave me alone. And I didn't want to leave her, obviously. And I remember he started trying to force himself on me. I remember he started putting his hands in my shirt. I remember he put his hands in my tights. And then I remember he tried putting my hand in his pants. And I remember he tried getting me to lay with him behind this like little plaza where there's a nail salon and some other random little stores. And he wanted to have sex there, but I told him no. I remember saying no, and I told him that I had a boyfriend. And I remember him trying to convince me that it was okay and that he didn't have to find out. And I remember even in that moment of me being not fully there, I remember begging God for it to stop, and that I was so sorry, and that I was never gonna go to another party again, and I was never gonna drink again, and I was never gonna smoke again. And so that happened. And I remember that started the anxiety and the depression. And every November since, I would go into these like funks, these bad funks. And that leads me to last year, 2025. Not only was I in that funk that usually starts around September and doesn't go away until around February, I ended up last year getting my car crashed. I'm gonna turn this live off, guys, sorry. I ended up getting my car crashed by my husband. It was totaled. I ended up finding out that my ex-husband at the time, he broke my trust. And then I got fired from my job in December.